Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning into the Sports Distraction Podcast. No Matt today, but in his place, a very special guest, very special episode for the podcast. You know him. He's 1/3 of Podcast About List. He's the owner of the Twitter account the government is the most aware of. It's Caleb Pitts from Podcast About List. How you doing, Caleb?
I'm good. Did you say it's called Sports Destruction?
Distraction.
Oh, you guys missed. You guys,
we blew that one.
you airballed that one to use the right phrase.
Yeah, it's a sports show, folks. He's
Sports Destruction, dude. That's way cooler.
Yeah.
Can we change the name? Can this episode be Sports Destruction?
Yeah, I'll put up as Sports Destruction.
Yes.
It's actually, I was going to say, it's kind of funny because before we get into basketball, what was the thinking behind putting your cell phone number in your Twitter bio?
I am mentally disabled. Is that a good enough? A good enough answer?
I have many mental afflictions that are all just.
Yeah, I'm tortured by screams all the time, and I need distractions. Does that work?
Hey,
I don't know. I've been doing that for years. I actually started like writing about basketball like in high school.
Oh, no kidding.
And that was the first time I ever posted my phone number publicly. I posted it on Reddit, and I was like, "Oh, this is the best, dude." You just get people send you pictures of your cats. You almost never get like goatsy or like an asshole.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like that's like a very early internet thinking. Is like, oh, as soon as people have my info, it's just like a dog getting beaten to death with a shovel.
Yeah, like nobody really does it. Nobody that like follows me really would do that.
Yeah,
I mostly get like pictures of cats. There's a guy who asks me every day what is for lunch and dinner. And he's like, I would consider him like maybe one of my top 15 friends.
He's going to be the guy you talk to like after a tragedy happens.
Yeah, if my wife leaves me, I'm going to be like calling this guy. I'm going to be like, first of all, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Second of all, I'm in so much pain.
It's like, I needed this. Thank you for. He was there when no one else was.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because I was thinking when I first texted you, you didn't ask my name, what the podcast was about, anything. You just yep. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. You know what? I've got myself in some sticky situations because I do not know how to say no to people. Like if I've gone on so many terrible podcasts because people will just ask me, and I can never think of an excuse. So I'm like, yeah, whatever, I'll do it. But right. I'm glad that I did this. I haven't talked about basketball with somebody in a very long time.
Yeah, it's funny you say the only, aside from my brother, obviously, I have like one person at my work who likes basketball, and he's just a true freak. Like he's just.
Oh yeah, that's always the worst. Cameron, who I do the podcast with, told me that he worked with somebody at a liquor store who would like mime playing different sports while he was talking to people. Yeah. So he'd like pretend he was like playing basketball while he was talking to you.
Oh, mid conversation.
Yeah. And that's like most sports fans.
Yeah, that's
they're like that kind of guy.
Yeah, I work at a high school, and I'm sitting in the break room and just like doing whatever. And then a kid walks by. He's like this tall, like he's like 6'4". He's like pretty like big kid. And then he's like, "Hey, you talk to your parents?" And then the kid kind of takes his headphones out. He's like, "What?" He's like, "Hey, you talk to your parents?" He's like, "Oh, not yet, man." And he walks away. I'm like, "What was that about?" He's like, "Oh, I'm trying to." No, never mind. I'm like, "What? What is it?" He's like, "Well, I'm trying to like be his manager, man." I'm like, "Excuse me?" He's like trying to poach these kids to be kids he thinks are going to make it into the G League. He's trying to.
I mean, that's smart, dude. Get in early. You know what I mean? Yeah, like be one of those guys who like one of those dudes in high school who just produces for like every white rapper in the school.
Yes.
So you're like, one of these will be some random TikTok dance, and I will make $1 million.
Yeah, there will be one line or like one melody from one of these that'll be 10 million streams on.
Yeah. When this guy gets Me Too, this is going to be a huge song.
So yeah, hopefully it's one of the Me Too's where he was just rude to somebody, no sex stuff.
He was mean to a waiter. Yeah. And now I'm a millionaire off of this song. It's a smart idea.
It's like those people that follow 1 million people on Instagram. Like, well, if 1% of these people follow me back, that's 10K. That's an easy 10K.
Yeah, and you're like, and then they follow you, and you're like, damn, dude, this guy's got 10K. He's following my ass. Shit.
Yeah, this is cool. The come up, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm famous.
Yeah, but get into like a bit of basketball. Like, what would you say? Like, do you have like an early memory of like what got you into basketball at first, or Just kind of.
I grew up in Wilmington, North Carolina, which is where Michael Jordan grew up.
Okay.
And my dad was always a huge basketball fan. He's a Lakers fan. And when I was a kid, Michael Jordan, I asked him for an autograph at a UNCW game because he was like visiting for some reason, and he told me to buzz off. And that is my earliest basketball memory, is Michael Jordan being rude to me. I was probably 6 or 7 years old. And I had to me, the most famous guy in the world, because I also thought that he was just an actor when I was a kid.
Yeah,
because of Space Jam. It was my favorite movie. And I asked for an autograph, and he was like, "Hey, buzz off."
That's why he's the GOAT. Classic.
Yeah. And it kept me off of. I didn't watch basketball for years until I was like 17. And I don't really know how I got into it then. It just kind of happened. You get bored of video games at some point.
Yeah. Being from North Carolina, would you say were you like a Hornets fan or just like a fan of the league?
I fucking hate the Hornets.
Okay.
When I got into basketball, I was like, I really didn't want to be a Hornets fan because I knew that the franchise just sucked and they make all the wrong moves. But I didn't want to be a fan of like the best team, which at the time was like Golden State. So I just kind of picked the Raptors as like the team that I would be a fan of because they were like the third best in the Eastern Conference, fourth best at the time. And I had and then like 3 years later, they won a championship. So I paid off very fast.
Yeah, I was going to say, brother, did you come to the right podcast where I don't know if you could tell by how many times I thanked you over text, but we're like, wait, hang on. This is a Raptors podcast.
Oh, let's go, dude. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I had no clue.
Yeah. Again, no questions asked came on the pod. Yeah. But yeah, we actually a good Raptors story is when they, like you say, when they won. I was watching at my brother's house and I'm like, dude, like this could be it. It's game 6. They might do it. And then I watched the first quarter and they were leading in the first quarter. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going home, man. I can't be here if they win. And then like, there's like, what was it? There was that like foul call right at the end when there was like 0.9 seconds left.
Yeah.
And I just started crying. I was just,
oh yeah, dude. Have you been a Raptors fan your whole life?
Whole life. Yeah. Well, like you said, I got in kind of late, yeah, probably like a teenager or so. I remember one of the first games I watched when I'm like, oh, I'm going to get into basketball was when Derrick Rose blew his knee out.
Very funny. Yeah. Very good kind of like Three Stooges style pratfall he did.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, there's a minute left. I'll stay in. Keep me in.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I just remember like watching that and being like, oh, this is all the time for basketball? This is just, and then I took a break from it a little bit, and then I came back in when Kyrie and Gordon Hayward were with the Celtics. And then first game, Gordon Hayward twists his foot basically completely backwards. And I'm like, it's me. I can't be watching basketball.
Yeah.
For the safety of these players, I can't.
When Hayward turned his leg into spaghetti, I was like upstairs and my girlfriend was downstairs at her old apartment. And apparently I like screamed and she thought that I had like hurt myself. And she came up and I was like, oh no, some white guy on TV he hurt his leg, some millionaire.
Yeah, the alt-right, the only far-right basketball player.
Yeah, and good for him. It's a league about diversity. They embrace that.
Yeah, hey, it goes both ways, guys. Can't be, you got to play both sides.
It rules that he's like a right-wing guy who loves gaming. That's like the thing he does the most is like
a deadly combo.
Yeah, and his wife like hates him. She's like mad that he games all the time. Like that's like
ruining his life.
Yeah, this guy fucking rules.
Yeah, it's good to know there's no like, even if I was a millionaire, I'd still be ignoring my girlfriend.
Yeah, exactly.
6 hours a day.
It's so sick to just see a guy and be like, yeah, dude, I would just do that.
Yeah,
like I'd just be that same guy.
No different. Just like, yeah, she comes down. He's playing 2K.
Yeah,
he's not even.
I remember at one point he was like streaming on Twitch, and she like, there's a clip of him like she asked him to get off or something because like the babies are screaming. She's like
children.
Yeah, and they're all like young, and he's just gaming for like not even for money. Like he's already so rich, like he doesn't need to be streaming on Twitch.
Yeah, he's making $32 a stream.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I'm up. Hey,
yeah.
Yeah,
he rules.
Have you ever cried watching basketball? Have you ever?
No, but actually, no, I don't think I cried when the Raps won. I remember when Kawhi hit that shot against the 76ers.
Mm.
I went home, and sports is so goofy because I went home and it was like I felt like I just stepped out of like virtual reality. I like looked at my hands and I was like, "What the like? Is this real
How
right
did this
now?"
happen?
Yeah, like that was the most insane experience of my life.
Hmm.
But no,
Yeah,
I've not cried. Not yet. I'm not saying I will never cry.
Hey, yeah, haven't cried yet. Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
like I agree. Like when he hit that shot, like every time, like especially in like high pressure games like that, I don't sit down the entire game. I'm just pacing around the apartment. My girlfriend's just on her phone being like, "Can you like the energy in here is extremely fucked up. Can you
Oh
just
yeah.
yeah, and
That's the
then
best, dude. When you have like a small space, we have like one TV, and so your
hmm,
girlfriend is forced to sit in the same room as you while you're just like walking around, like nervously farting and watching playoff basketball.
yeah, it's 110 degrees because you're just sweating and pacing
Yeah,
around.
exactly. You just smell like such shit.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember he hit the shot and I like threw my arms up and then I went to like our balcony and just like yelled, just like no like yes, nothing, just like ah!
Just
And just
just a primal yell,
yeah, just because
dude.
like
That rules.
well like because the rat like you say they haven't really been great for like their entire franchise. They hadn't gotten out of the second round for forever. So
Yeah,
for that to be like how they finally got over the hump and like yeah, I just couldn't it was too much. It was like you know that feeling when you're coming down a roller coaster and like sounds just like escape you without even like thinking about
yeah,
it.
yeah.
It was kind of
Exactly.
like
Like
that where it's
the
just
pure G force is just like pushing it out of your
yeah,
diaphragm.
but instead it was just our friend Kawhi hitting that beautiful shot.
Yeah, it is funny. Like those years when I like first got into basketball, the Raptors just get winning like 50 games, 55 games
Mm.
every single season. And then LeBron just sweeping them in the playoffs, dude. That
No
was like,
issue. Yeah.
yeah, just DeMar DeRozan like trying to hit a mid-range jumper over like five guys
Yeah,
and just bricking, dude.
yeah, just and then it's like, oh, I remember like a big thing was he didn't have like the mental fortitude to because
Yeah,
like all the because like I live about like an hour from Toronto, but like all the like the papers and tabloids and everything were like, get this fucking guy out of here. He's a loser. We hate him. Like he can't beat LeBron. Like it's like
yeah.
he doesn't
I
need this.
think I think honestly, my theory is that DeMar DeRozan has weak mental because he has adult acne. I honestly think that. I'm
The
not kidding. Like I
like
think if he got on like proactive,
mm,
he would be like a just a clutch time player.
yeah, no issue and like he came out like he grew up in Compton like he such a tough journey and still adult acne
Yeah,
is
adult.
what's
Well, that's the power of adult acne. I feel like it's a perfect example of like it can destroy lives and sports careers.
so yeah, no matter what like what you've overcome, like you wake up you got those spots on your chin, it's like fuck, I can't do this. I can't.
Yeah, exactly. It's like just maybe try washing your face, every other night, something like that. Put
Go
on
live
some
go live in San
moisturizer.
Antonio where everyone's just humongously fat so it doesn't even matter. They're just like
True.
yeah.
Well, that'll help him a lot. I think is when he's in those situations. They're down by two, and he goes for like a 3-point shot. He won't even be thinking about how ugly he is because he'll just see like the fattest woman of all time in the front row, and
Yes.
she's the mayor of San Antonio. And he's like, if that's the best person here, like I could make this shot.
Yeah, she's wearing like the nacho hat from The Simpsons, and
Yeah,
just
exactly.
has like a gallon of like just Diet Coke, and just
Yeah. Like a soda size that, like, if I carried it around in New York, I'd be like detained.
yeah. You'd be
You
stopped
know?
by the police because
Yeah, I would be like put in like Guantanamo Bay for having a soda that large in New York City. But nah, dude, they just sell them. It's actually free at the stadium in San Antonio.
yeah, with included in ticket price is the
Yeah.
the 10-gallon hat soda.
An
Yeah.
860-ounce soda.
Yeah, it's just in like one of those like chemical drums that you just pulling it around
Yeah.
on a dolly. Yeah.
And the people who order it, they ask for like no ice so they can get more soda in the cup.
Just right to the top on
Yeah,
that.
they're like, hey, if you put a single fucking ice cube in there, I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm
And
gonna fall over, and then
You're-
you're gonna have to pick me up.
You're gonna have to deal with me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been to how long have you been in New York? Have you been able to go to a game at MSG at all, or
No, I moved here like 6 months ago, so everything has been
the
everything's been gone.
the perfect time? It's like, yeah, when do I want to move to the busiest city in America?
Yeah, looking back, the thing I got a deal on an apartment, so it was worth it, hopefully. But
Yeah.
I have not been able to see any basketball. I've only been to two NBA games, both Charlotte Hornets with both Raptors at Hornets.
Okay.
Yeah, which was fun. It was crazy to see Frank Kaminsky in real life, and just be like, wow, dude, that guy is so shitty at basketball. It's crazy.
So yeah, he's just, and that guy's just in the league.
Mm-hmm.
That's what, like, in my head, I'm like, because I'm like maybe like 5'9", 5'10" on a good day, but like it's like I could make it in the NBA. I just have to develop my 3-point shot, and
yeah, Frank Kaminsky is absolutely like the power of like height, because I saw him miss 2 dunks in the warm up before the game, and I was like, dude, you're 7'3" or whatever. Just how is this possible?
There's no pressure. There's nothing going on.
Yeah, no, you're not even in the game yet, and you're missing dunks. That's insane.
Like, I think that's actually my brother had a good point about that, where he thinks that's the case with Aaron Baines on the Raptors. Where it's just like, well, at least he's 7 feet tall. He can do something out there, but then you just it's tough to watch. But
yeah, especially when those guys start, all of them. I remember like after like Golden State's first or second championship run, every single like white guy who played like 4 and 5 started trying to play like stretch 5.
Yeah.
And so it was just like 2 seasons of these guys trying to figure out how to shoot a ball for the first time in their life. Because when you're that big, you can get all the way to the NBA just being the biggest guy.
Yeah. That's
like those guys who are just like the biggest dude at a pickup game, and they don't know how to actually play basketball at all.
Yeah.
But they just they'll hook from like 1 inch away from the basket because nobody can stop them.
Yeah, because everyone else is 5'10". Tops.
Yeah, exactly. That was like, I used to play pickup in North Carolina, and there was like all of the like college basketball players in Wilmington would just play at this one court, and I would go and I would just get dominated by them because they were all like 6'6", and I didn't care. But then one time there was this like 6'10" white dude who showed up, who's like older, who's probably like mid-30s, and he wore a Subway shirt and a Subway shooting sleeve.
Just came from work.
Yeah, I mean, he had to have. And I've never seen somebody play basketball for 2 hours and not miss a single shot. This guy was insane. And then halfway through, we started calling him Subway. And then every time he'd hit a shot, he would look at the bench and say, "Eat fresh." It was one of the most like psychotic experiences of my life.
Am I on TV right now?
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is this, dude? Is this candid camera? Like, what kind of shit is this?
Well, it's like where I live, it's Jamal Murray from the Denver Nuggets. It's his hometown. So like we would play pickup at the 1Y across town, and there's this guy who's like, yeah, used to play with Murray in high school. And then like I'm like, okay, whatever. He's like, you say, he's like probably like 6'6", big guy. Drains his first 3, and then like you say, for 2 hours, just 0 for a million, just no game whatsoever. Just
that's the best, dude. I love like people who claim they like grew up with pros, like especially in Wilmington. Every like 5'5" white dad has a story about beating Michael Jordan at basketball. It's like so funny. Like every guy that I worked with doing construction, they'd be like, "Yeah, man. Well, actually, like when MJ was around here, we went to high school together. I beat his ass in basketball."
Yeah, Jordan was pulling up to the VFW hall and playing on the gravel hoop.
Yeah, the YMCA. Yeah, Jordan was definitely there, dude, for sure.
He was just coming by, just middle of the season, just came by.
He just loved the game so much.
Yeah, he couldn't get away from it.
Yeah.
The most famous guy, like at the time, he was like literally like he couldn't go anywhere or do anything.
Yeah, he's like the Beatles. Yeah, it's like, yeah, dude, he's pulling up to play some pickup with Frank, my friend's dad, for sure.
Yeah, he brought the what is it from White Castle? He brought the Crave case, and we all just made an afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Goddamn. Did you watch The Last Dance? What'd you think of that?
I loved it because I especially like I think a lot of older people like watching it for nostalgia, but for me, I
Mm.
just didn't know a lot about like the Bulls run, you know. Like
Oh
I'd
yeah.
seen highlights and shit, and I think until I watched The Last Dance, I'm also very easily influenced, and so until I watched The Last Dance, I probably would have said LeBron was the best of all time,
Yeah.
and then I think that kind of switched my mind just because like I don't know, I wasn't there to watch him, so
Yeah. Well,
it's
because
hard for me to say.
you were born in what, 97?
Yeah, 97.
Yeah, so like I was born in 95, so it's like I'm no clue, completely missed all of it. And then watching it's like, oh, so yeah, it was still good. He was
Yeah, yeah. It's like watching. I felt like such an idiot because I was like, oh, yeah, dude. Of course
yeah,
he's fucking the best at basketball. That's like his whole thing.
yeah,
That's like all he's known for is being the best at basketball and getting his dad murdered with gambling addiction.
yeah.
Like that's like the two most famous facts about him.
Well, it's like that's how you know he's so good at basketball because getting his dad murdered is the second thing they say.
Yeah, yeah. That's how you know he's the best at basketball. He might be the best at getting his dad murdered too. You know, but he's even better at basketball.
Yeah, yeah. Until LeBron does that, then that plus
Yeah,
the rings.
LeBron has to find his dad first, and then get addicted to gambling, and
he's
then get him murdered.
Who was rumored to have had sex with LeBron's mom, Delonte West.
Yeah, it's Delonte West.
He's gonna get
yeah.
him killed. As
I think Delonte West is gonna get Delonte West killed.
He's doing it himself, unfortunately.
Yeah. Doesn't he like live? Doesn't he literally live like Oscar the Grouch, like in a trash can?
He just still lives at like the Mavericks Stadium. He just lives out back.
Yeah, he's like that dude's not having a good time.
I feel like you see all like it's like, oh, what's All the Smoke, like Matt Barnes podcast. They'll just go in on like the most awkward shit to do with the league. Where I feel like back in like Jordan's time, they're just like, oh yeah, Rodman's just he's how he is. But now it's like on Instagram and like podcasts are talking about it and shit like that. So it's just like every other person was Delonte West back in like the 90s. But
yeah,
but now it's like we need to help him. Can we get a mental health check on?
Do you think Delonte West was like driven crazy by fucking LeBron's mom? Do you think LeBron like used like an MK Ultra thing to like make him lose his mind?
Yeah. It unlocked something in his mind where he's like, she gave birth to the greatest, and now.
Also, maybe just like fucking LeBron's mom just like makes you disappear. Maybe the same thing happened to LeBron's dad.
Yep.
He's just like also in the back of the Maverick Stadium.
Yeah, they're both just in like it's just like a like purgatory.
Yeah, like, so, yeah, they're on like the Lost Island.
Yeah,
because they fucked her.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah, all her past, like everyone in her back catalog who's fucked her is just wandering around an island. It's just
yeah, yeah. I mean, you got to wonder also, like, who LeBron's dad has to have been. He's got to be pretty easy to spot, right?
Yeah, it's
just like the most jacked mailman of all time.
Yeah, it's just he just works at like a Shake Shack or something.
Yeah,
he's just like 6'10", looks exactly like LeBron with like graying hair. It's like, hey, aren't you like? Oh no, not me. I don't what.
Me, no, dude.
No, I'm a football guy. I don't know.
Yeah, I like the idea that because he also has to know.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely.
Like he has to know that that's his son. He has to be like watching TV and just be like, "Fuck, that looks just like me, dude."
Shit, that's
shit.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, the lady I fucked around on 36 years ago.
Yeah,
that looks just like me.
Fuck. He just works in like an office and he's just like the best at like paper bin basketball, like of all time.
Yeah, he's like,
just hitting like fadeaways from like across the office.
Yeah, putting like recycle bins in the way for like. Yeah, and then like you say, like has no clue, not a basketball guy whatsoever. Then he just sees him in like a Pizza Hut commercial or some shit. He's like, wait a minute. Yeah, fuck. Yeah, man. I don't like. That was about a half hour. Do you want to keep going or?
Yeah, let's keep going. I'm having fun.
Yeah, fuck. Have you been like you say? You said before recording you haven't watched basketball in a year and a half. Have you been checking out any games?
I've been watching some basketball. I'll watch some highlights and shit. But I don't know what. I think it's just because I don't have like cable anymore.
Yeah, that's
sucks,
very
dude.
true.
Yeah, I need to get some sort of way to watch basketball on my TV.
You just do like the illegal streams route then?
Yeah, baby. Come on.
Okay.
I do like I'm on the like NBA streams Discord looking for like random midseason Raptor games when I'm drunk.
Yeah. Well, it's
Yeah.
like the guy I work with, he's like, "Oh yeah, I have League Pass." I'm like, "Oh, that's how I know you're a sicko because you have
Yeah,
you're
true,
paying
dude.
for League Pass."
Yeah,
The fuck?
you must be that guy has some skeletons in his closet spending $99 a year
Yeah.
to watch League Pass with blocked out
I
games.
was gonna say
Fuck that.
he's watching 3 games for $100.
Yeah, it does not work out to a good price per game
Yeah.
at all, dude. Because they'll block like it'll be like the Suns versus like the Clippers, like at home mid-season,
Hmm.
and they'll be like, this is actually blocked out.
Yeah.
Like you're not allowed to watch this like very mediocre game.
Yeah, especially like once it gets closer to playoffs and it's like teams that are just way out of the picture, definitely not making the playoffs. It's like, oh, it's the Wizards and the Hawks. Yeah, sorry, you're not watching that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to pay more for that.
Not even
package.
not getting a crumb of basketball content.
Yeah. Do they still have this where you can like pick one team and watch all of their like there? I remember at one point there's an option where you would just pick one team and you could watch all their games.
Yeah, I think that's
They
what
still do that.
I'm pretty sure because the guy at my work, he for some reason is a big Pistons fan, and he's just like, I think he like catches every single Pistons game.
That is like a bigger gamble than any like preseason sports bet you could possibly make.
Yeah,
is being like, well, I'm a Magic fan. I'm gonna get the entire league pass for the Magic all year. It's like you're doing so much psychic damage to yourself by watching those games all year.
yeah, just rolling the dice with a year of basketball content.
Exactly, dude.
Yeah, goddamn. But yeah, not basketball related, but this guy at my work, he another way I know he's a sicko is he's probably like you say, like late 30s, maybe early 40s, but he just loves Billie Eilish.
Yeah. Okay. Wait, is this the same league pass guy?
Yeah, this is the league pass guy.
Okay.
This is the
This guy needs to be put in a straitjacket.
And well, and we work at a high school too, so I'm like, should I call the police on this man?
Yeah, I have deep suspicions about this man.
Yeah.
He's a Billie Eilish fan. Well, that's not that, but he also pays for League Pass. So we'll be right over. We're sending a SWAT team to
crashing through the window immediately.
Yeah, the school's on lockdown.
Yeah, but I talked to him because I thought it'd be like, I'm like, yeah, it'd be funny to have this guy on the podcast. I'm like, hey, we do it over Zoom. Could you do that? He's like, oh, I don't have the internet at home. So
no way,
yeah, like just like
he has League Pass and no internet.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I don't like we don't because like what did I ask him? I said something about like, oh, did you see this on like Twitter or something? He's like, oh, I don't do that. We don't have like a computer at home. So
good for him, dude. Just going to like Buffalo Wild Wings and being like, hey, do you guys mind if I airplay this League Pass game to one of your TVs?
Yeah, well, I think it's something like you can get it with your cable package or something. He talked me through the process of having to call in Canada it's Bell and talk them through getting him League Pass without having a computer.
That's even more diabolical to be paying for cable and still get the League Pass.
Yeah, and like cable can't be like, even though Netflix and everything kind of sucks now, cable can't be worth it just for basketball.
No,
There's no way.
Not, dude. Fuck no.
Yeah,
never. No. I should just be watching more games. I don't know. I feel like a big thing for me is I feel like a baby, but I guess I really do enjoy like live crowd sounds.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like watching the bubble for the playoffs last year, like yeah, I agree. Like something was just missing the whole time.
It felt fucking bizarre, dude. Like people would like players would do the most insane shit, and my brain wouldn't even recognize it as cool because there wasn't like a million drunk people screaming about it.
Yeah, I need that. Yeah, like you say, I need that reinforcement of like, hey, and I'm probably looking at my phone or like playing Switch at the same time.
Yeah, I need the audio feedback of like, I need the cue to be.
Yeah, exactly.
The games are too. I think if they're gonna have nobody in the stands, they should just make the games like 30 minutes. You know?
Yeah, let's wrap this up. No one's here.
Yeah, just make it like the Big 3 tournament, basically. I feel like I'd rather watch that than watch just like some lunatic who paid $10,000 to have his video feed like on a TV in the stands or whatever.
Yeah, it's like behind the hoop or whatever for
Yeah,
3 seconds.
That shit's so funny, dude. I wonder how much those cost. They got to be expensive, right?
Well, it's like I know the Suns did it where it's like, oh, if you enter this contest, you can be behind the hoop. But it's like I'm sure they're like, oh yeah, this is the same as a face value ticket price to
Yeah.
be virtually courtside.
Has anyone done like has anyone like flashed their camera on those or shown their ass with
I'm
their
sure
balls?
it has to.
It has to have happened, right?
That's
There's
first thing. It'd be
too many little fucking heads in that crowd to not have one of them have a butthole.
yeah, or just like the guy who thinks he's like being defiant. He's like gets like on a Jazz feed and is wearing like a Celtics jersey or something. He's like, I'm getting him, dude.
Yeah, some moron who's like, I'm gonna put a free Hong Kong sign on my fucking my Zoom video for this. That'll be so epic.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a fuck Drumpf sign on the at the Jazz game.
Yeah,
this will show him.
Yeah, I want to get what's your favorite like thing like that somebody has gotten onto the Kiss Cam at some point?
The one that springs to mind immediately is I think it might have been a Cavaliers game where a guy was holding up like they gave out like the Lakers like the promotional towel or whatever on the seat, and then he's holding it up and then he drops it down, and this is when what the fuck what's his name, Meta World Peace played for them, or Ron Artest.
Yeah,
and it just says Artest is a bitch on his shirt underneath.
That's mine is like basically the same thing, but it's just like I lived in Boston for 3 years, so I have a certain affinity for like bloated Boston like Irish people.
Yeah, and
there's that clip of that guy wearing that shirt that says LeBron is a bitch on it.
Oh, same thing.
from but then also like 3 years later when I was living in Boston, I was watching a League Pass game, or some illegal stream of a League Pass game where it shows you like the Kiss Cam and shit, like the fan cam.
Yeah.
Instead of commercials. And there was like a 5-year-old boy wearing the same shirt.
It's that man's son is.
Yeah. I was like, dude, this is whoever your parents are first of all, you need to be collected by Child Protective Services. Second of all, they need to be given an award because that is the funniest shit I've ever seen. Is a 5-year-old who has like no idea who LeBron James is.
Yeah, doesn't know where he is or what's happening.
He's just like, yeah, I'm in a hockey game. Here's my LeBron is a bitch shirt.
Yeah, his dad was at a traffic court, so he's like, here, my son has to wear this. Just so
yeah.
But yeah, you never went to no, never mind. I was gonna ask if you went to any games at TD, but I can only imagine
they're expensive as fuck.
Yeah, we're in a similar situation in like going to games in Toronto is wildly expensive.
Yeah, Toronto's just like an expensive city, right?
Yeah, pretty bad.
Yeah, so Boston's more expensive than New York.
Whoa.
As far as like every living expense, and I think like nosebleeds at TD Garden were like it's like $100 for like a shitty midseason game.
God damn.
You know, because they just pack it. I mean, Boston sports fans are fucking psychotic. They'll pay anything. They're all rich, like weird, like pharma and tech people who just have all this disposable income, and they'll just pay anything, dude. It's fucking nuts. And then like in North Carolina, we went to a Charlotte game, and I was like 6 rows up, and the ticket cost $60.
Yeah, they just start giving them away at a certain point.
Yeah, the fucking stadium's empty, dude.
Yeah.
It holds like 10,000 people. There's like 800 people there for a Raptors-Hornets game. It's like you can only watch Kemba Walker for 20 minutes before you just don't really care.
Yeah, and then like after 9 years of Kemba, you're like, okay, let's.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was just fucking. I was also like the brokest I've ever been when I lived in Boston.
Yeah.
So I would basically once a week I would Google like Boston Celtics like tickets raffle, and I just entered like for like 3 years. I just entered the raffle, every single week.
One of these is gonna hit. Come on.
It's like one of these, I'm gonna get it, dude. But the problem is, when I was a kid, I won an Xbox in a raffle at a swim meet, so I used up all of my raffle luck for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So what I've realized that I will never ever enter into a raffle again.
It's funny you say, because the one time we were, I think like 8 or 9 rows back at a Raptors game, and it's because my dad won a raffle at his work. And everyone's just like, what the fuck? No one gives a fuck about basketball. So he's just like, yeah, sure. He was like, because it's like little cups that you just put tickets into. And he's like, yeah, there's literally just my 2 tickets in there. And then that was it. Because no one gives a shit about basketball.
Dude, speaking of seat prices, I should get this out publicly, because it's just, there's nowhere for me to say this story, but it is very funny. When Kobe died, I have a friend who the second that Kobe Bryant died, that he found out, he bought 3 courtside Lakers tickets because he knew that he could sell them for way more money.
Yeah, it's gonna skyrocket
an hour, and I think he made like $8,000.
God.
Yeah.
I remember when Kobe died, being the only sports fan at my job at the time. I used to work at a thrift store.
Yeah.
Like, my coworkers were coming up to me like my dad had died, because I was the only sports fan they knew. So they're just like, hey man, like, I'm really sorry, man. I'm really
I'm so sorry to hear about your evil sexual deviant friend. He was that psychopath was such a hero to so many of us. So
yeah, that it's so funny seeing that picture of him as like coaching his daughter's team, and it's like 129 to like 30 or some shit. They just ran the score up on like a children's basketball game, because he just has that like you say, that psychotic mentality to just win at all costs.
Yeah, dude, I'll say this about Kobe: guy will not take no for an answer. It's not in him, dude.
Yeah, it's just on the field or on the court, wherever. It's
I actually heard that one time. I'm stealing what I'm guessing is a joke from an announcer one time at it was like right after the Derrick Rose scandal.
Okay.
Derrick Rose, like the coach like pulled him to the bench or whatever, and then he was like he like argued with the coach, and then like came back on the court, and then the announcer goes, Derrick Rose will not take no for an answer. And I was like, that is either the funniest thing ever, or just like accidentally still the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, he's just getting like the side eye so hard. It's Marv Albert just sitting there, just a huge grin on his face.
Is Marv still announcing games?
I think he still calls Knicks games every now and then.
Dude, I mean, when I first got into basketball, I thought that he was maybe like 110 years old, like listening to him announce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he sounds like he's from the 40s still.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he'll be like, he'll be announcing a game, and like LeBron will hit a 3 or whatever. And then he'll be like, oh, what an amazing shot from Pistol Pete Maravich. And it's like, he would just get everybody's name wrong.
Yeah.
In like the most insane way possible.
Yeah. And he's just like a half step away from saying like a slur that hasn't been heard in like 30, 40 years.
Yeah. Something that wouldn't even get him in trouble, because nobody would know what he's talking about.
Yeah. He's a what? I don't.
Yeah. But instead he would just fucking watch again LeBron just dunk, and he'd be like, oh, there goes Barack Obama with another huge dunk.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy reprising he's
yeah. I think that's how announcers should be, though. You know, like, I don't want to hear a good announcer. I want to hear somebody who is very funny.
Yeah, that's like, I feel like because announcers right now are so trash, because they haven't found that sweet spot between actual like announcing and like saying funny shit. Like, they'll just say like, oh yeah, and then just talk about some shit from Twitter that no one gives a fuck about, instead of just being funny.
That's why the players only ones are so good.
Oh yeah,
because
absolutely.
Like, those guys have been, everybody on players only has been like a millionaire since they were 19. So they're all just insane.
They have
like
nothing to lose.
Yeah. And just hearing them talk for 2 hours straight is so fucking crazy.
And it's like you say, it's like just on live television. They're just
just on live television. Just Charles Barkley be like, and there goes LeBron hitting another 3. You know, I fucked quite a few 3s in my day.
When I was down in Phoenix, There's only so
Yeah.
much. Yeah. And well, who I forget who it was, but they were talking about it was like you say, it's a players only announcing game, and whoever it was oh, and there's LeBron's wife on the sideline. She's been supportive throughout his move to Miami and coming back to Cleveland, and I'd hit it out the park, and and just like breezes through it and doesn't. No one says anything. Everyone's just like nodding in the booth, like, yeah, of course,
hell yeah, yeah,
absolutely, man. Just dapping
yeah.
each other
LeBron
up.
just nodding from the bench, like, yeah, of course you hit it at the park.
Yeah, he points up at the booth, like, yeah, I got you.
It is always funny when they cut to somebody's spouse, like a famous millionaire basketball spouse in the audience, and they're ugly.
Yeah,
It always makes me like them so much more.
it's like, yes, dude.
Yeah, it's like, dude, that's sick that you have like an ugly wife and so much money.
It's
Like you must be the best guy of all time.
well, it's like those are the only people that are truly in love.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Say, yeah, whatever, I'm a millionaire. Fuck it, man.
Yeah, like you realize that you could just like use your money to absolutely Mr. Potato Head your wife and make her hot. But instead you just let her look like that because you love her so much. What a good guy.
Bringing her to games, like, yeah, put her on TV.
Yeah, dude, put her fucking right in front of the camera. Cameraman just inching further away.
Yeah, you just see him like pull the zoom way away from her.
And there she is, right there in the middle. You might be able to see her.
Yeah, she's the normal one in the center there.
Yeah.
Is there in Charlotte, is there any like, you know how like the Knicks have like Spike Lee, like a famous fan, like Toronto has Drake. Is there one in Charlotte? And could you be him if
I guess I could. But then I would have to explain that I was not a Charlotte fan.
yeah,
That would be kind of tough to explain, I feel like.
courtside in a Raptors jersey for Grizzlies Hornets, being like, yeah, I don't know, I'm just from here. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know. I would have to like I'd definitely have to make some apologies for my previous fanship and probably things I've said too.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like you say, with like winning that Xbox raffle, in my head, I'm like, I'm never going to be the famous fan at the Raptors game. Drake is going to be famous forever, man. Fuck this.
Yeah, true. You definitely did just get like the most famous guy as your super fan, unfortunately.
It's so funny that he still gets clowned on for like, because he's like, I don't know. He's corny, obviously, but he's just been like famous for 15 years, and everyone still just clowns on him for being. It's because he's Canadian, I think.
Yeah,
but
no, definitely easy to dunk on. I guess you know. I guess Patrick Ewing would. He's like, he was an assistant coach at Charlotte for a while. He was basically the closest thing to a super fan. Like when I went, I saw him. It was funny to just see him like in a suit. You know, it's funny to see that guy, and like when you watch him play basketball, you're like, oh, he's playing a game, and then you see him be an assistant coach, and you're like, oh, he's at like work right now. You know, like he's here because he needs the money.
yeah, he's yeah, he has like one of those old punch cards, and he just like has his lunchbox. He's just walking in
at the fucking Frank Kaminsky factory.
Yeah, he's just
gotta whip these boys into shape.
Yeah, he walks through, just, hey, Michael, just keeps walking.
Yeah, and well, yeah, I guess Michael Jordan was. He was never there when I was there, but he has to have been at some Charlotte games, right?
Yeah, he's the owner, right, or president?
Oh yeah, of course he's there. Yeah, he wasn't there when I went, but I guess he would also be him and Ewing would be the two like people that you go to see who aren't actually playing the game.
Yeah,
Michael Jordan is it's fun. It's really funny being from the same town as him because like there's like Wilmington is like it was like also an old like Civil War battlefield town.
Okay,
so half of the monuments are Confederate generals, and then half of them are Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
it's like split right down the middle.
Yeah, it's whatever the fuck, Stonewall Jackson or whatever, and
Yeah.
then Michael Jordan with Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, in front of like, and he worked at a diner which is now gone, but it was called Whitey's Diner, and there was like a plaque on it that was like, that was like one of the historical sites of Wilmington, North Carolina, if you went there. It was this plaque that had Michael Jordan's name on it. And you go get the worst omelet of all time.
Yeah, the runniest.
Like, yeah, and be like, wow, he worked here. That's so awesome.
There's actually a diner in my hometown with, it's so fun. It's a picture of Jamal Murray, but it's almost like they just walked up with a camera and took a picture of him. And then we're like, hey, can you sign this? And then they put it behind and like you say, just like burnt toast. Fucking
yeah, just the worst place ever.
Yeah, and just like, hey, he was here though.
Yeah,
when he had no option but to eat here, he was here.
Good for him, dude, and good for your town. Getting the money.
Yeah,
because people are definitely going to travel hundreds of miles to go to the Jamal Murray restaurant.
Yeah. all the heads are making their way out to.
All the Jamal Murray fans are coming to Canada to eat at that diner.
Yeah, they're getting the layover in Montreal, getting to Toronto, and then driving another hour.
Yeah, just spending thousands of dollars to go to Jamal Murray Mecca.
Oh, goddamn. Well, I don't really have a ton else. Usually we just like you say, this isn't the Watch Pod or whatever the fuck. We just kind of.
Thank God, dude.
Yeah.
Something is wrong with these basketball podcasts.
Well, that's like,
thank God you just hang out.
Well, thinking about because I'm like, okay, I got to do some prep for this episode. And then I looked at the clock. It's like, oh, it's 6:28. Time to record, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I hate about everything that you could say about basketball has already been said.
Yeah.
And so when I turn on like the Bill Simmons podcast and he'll have Zach Lowe and he'll be like, Zach, do you think that Jonas Valanciunas would be better if he played on stilts? And then they'll talk about that for like 45 fucking minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, what is wrong with you people?
Yeah, like you say, like I listened to Windhorse podcast, Brian Windhorse, and I forget what it was, or they were talking about how good the Celtics would be if they had like a stretch five that was better than Daniel Tice or whatever. Mm-hmm. And like you say, like an hour. It's like, dude, how? This is like.
Yeah. That those are always the best though. Those podcasts where they just sit on a hypothetical that would just never happen forever. And it's always Bill Simmons, and he's always like, yeah, so what if the Houston Rockets, do you think they'd win a championship if they had a nuclear bomb that they could turn on at any time? And then they'll just waste all of our hour on a Wednesday morning.
And you're just like, you know what? Maybe they'll put a nugget of information in there that I need.
Yeah. I mean, I'll still listen to that over like Dunked On or one of those podcasts that just it just says numbers the entire time.
Yeah. And I feel like those podcasts too are just like way too psyched to be a podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're like, I can't believe that like me, the least charming guy in the world, is allowed to do this as a job.
The guy with the least amount to say about basketball or anything funny to say. In fact, I have a podcast now.
Like this could be, this is like the only actual application for like a newsletter is the content of this podcast. Yeah. And for some reason we spend 2 hours and we have a Patreon.
Yeah, we're the fourth highest grossing on Patreon because
yeah, exactly.
We just read an athletic article.
Yeah, just one of those basketball podcasts that people only listen to fall asleep. It's like one of those like calmness, like YouTube meditation videos.
Yeah, it's just one of it like goes for like 20 minutes and then it's just like a 444 hertz tone that just puts you to sleep, and like you have a DMT trip while you're sleeping. It starts as like a normal podcast, but
yeah.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah, this was great, man. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, dude, of course. This was a blast. Thanks for having this. This went magnitudes better than I anticipated.
Yeah.
That's honestly from a guy who just texted me and told me to be on his podcast. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, open invite. Come back whenever you like.
Yeah, I would love to, dude. Next time I watch a basketball game, I'll text you.
Yeah. I'm doing it. It's happening right now.
Yeah, I'm actually I'll maybe we'll record one where I watch a basketball game and I'm just basically live tweeting my thoughts on it.
Yeah, and you're just doing voice note tweets basically.
Yeah, I'm just like, wow, I forgot that this game actually, I forgot it works like this. It's been so fucking long.
I actually like this. Damn.
Yeah, wow, I should watch more of these.
Y'all know about this? It's funny because my brother's like, oh, make sure like you ask him if you can like tweet out that he was on the podcast. I'm like, I think I think he knows he's going to be on the podcast. And then,
yeah, that'd be a horrible notification if I didn't.
just,
I did what now? I thought I was on WTF with Mark Maron. What the fuck is this?
Hold the phone. I wasn't talking to Stephen A. Or yeah, Stephen. Yeah, fuck. Yeah, and
as much as you resemble Stephen A. Smith.
Yes.
I was not fooled.
Yeah, he's just like, well, do you think he would have us on his podcast? I'm like, no, of course not. What the fuck? Yeah, but yeah, like you say, open invite, come back. I'd love. This was like you say, this was really great. Appreciate this, man.
For sure, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks so much for listening. I'm just gonna pause it and we can do whatever.
Yeah, sounds good, dude.
All right, thanks for listening, everybody.